Alright, it's only me. I'm a wee bit later on the day, but I was away out a big walk with the dog. I was wanting to make sure the dog got his exercise in before this Storm Ewan, as they're calling it the new. Depending on when you watch, if you're watching this the new, then it'll be like, oh, what's going to happen with this? Heavy weather warning for the Mora, 100-mile-an-hour winds. You might be watching it a year for you now and be like, hey, that's that video of that guy that made the day before he died, when he went out to go to work and they never made any concessions whatsoever for the weather and just gave him the exact same amount of work today. But anyway, today we're going to cover a bit of Roxy music, which was the album of the day today, the fantastic debut album for 1972, which if you haven't heard it, is an interesting listen. It's like if well, I think I said it in the review of the album, it's like if Noel Coward wrote some songs for the Beatles and Jimi Hendrix. It's quite a fantastic album. The opening track, Remake Remodel, there's a bit in the instrumental section where it breaks down and all the instruments get like a couple of bars today, just like a wee solo, and you hear things in there like there's the bass plays the riff for Day Tripper, and the saxophone plays a bit for Wagner's Ride of the Valkyries, and the guitar plays just like a random kind of rock and roll riff. It's like they've listened to all the music that appeared up until 1972 and just made this. Well, I'm trying to use the word postmodern, because I always use that when they're talking about Roxy music. But it's just Roxy music, one of the bands, I remember them vividly from when I was growing up. I used to love the Roxy music come on Top of the Pops or whatever, because Brian Ferry was so different from everybody else. He understood that in 1972 everybody else had long hair, so he'd better look like something else. So he just come out looking like James Bond. And I mean, Brian Ferry in the 70s must have been beating the tang off with his smooth white suit and tuxedo. But anyway, what we're going to cover here is this song Virginia Plain, which is a kind of commercial. See, I mean, that's the thing about Roxy music as well. I don't want to disappear too much down a rabbit hole talking about this. But Roxy music in the 70s tends to be when you get to the late 70s, everything started fractalising and everybody has to compartmentalise music into different genres. In the mid 70s you had bands like Roxy Music, Queen, the sensational Alex Harvey Band, Thin Lizzy even, that had one foot in the kind of rock market and another foot in the singles chart, where it was hard to pin down what they actually were. Nazareth as well, actually, you could argue, were in that group as well. And Roxy music eventually, by the time they got to about 1979, 80, I'm trying what album we're about, Manifesto maybe, when they started turning into maybe a kind of mainstream kind of pop band, whereas their mid-70s stuff's quite eclectic and all over the place and quite exciting, especially their first album with Brian Eno working on it, because Brian Eno's the guy, he wasn't a musician, and it was just like a guy that would treat the sounds with electronic effects and get some interesting sounds out here. Like you get the guy that was working for Doctor Who to come in and muck about with your music. But here we go, we're going to talk about Virginia Plain here. I've got a song here in the key of F sharp, with the bass line pretty easy. It starts off for us. Just with that F sharp to the D flat. Then you're octaving up with this beat. Flat, then same again, and it's just that pattern all the way through with slight variations in there. When you get to the guitar solo, when you're doing the octaving bit, back into that again. And then on the fifth verse, the bass starts doing this. Then there's this bit going. I mean, it doesn't move much away for the 4 notes, but it's when the whole thing's stuck together, the bass sounds pretty easy. The rest of the instruments are all doing things that are reasonably no complicated. It's just when you put it all together like a cake, it just all sounds like this big, massive, mad noise. Really, really good. So let's get tore into this one. This is for 1972, Virginia playing by Roxy Music. Play a bit of Roxy Music for the debut album for 1972. Definitely well worth listening to. It's like a musical compendium in history up until 1972. Quite excellent. So anyway, thanks for watching and I'll see you later. Keep listening to Roxy Music.